How do you actually attract someone who isn't expressing mutual interest in the way that you imagine? They're not on that mutual wavelength of loving you the way that you desire to be loved. First, there's a couple of mistakes we need to avoid, and I'll show you what I would probably lean in towards doing in order to achieve this outcome. There are probably so many mistakes out there that it's just endless, and this is the problem. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up with the top 5 mistakes that I would have personally made myself and have reflected on that you should definitely avoid doing if you want to attract your partner that you desire. And let's do those first, and then I'll focus on what you can do instead. Sometimes, especially if your partner is more forgiving or she has a much more forgiving nature, she's more likely to perhaps overlook certain mistakes, even if that does mean getting retaliative in return. So sometimes mistakes can be made and you can sort of get away with them a little bit. But there are certain mistakes that you would definitely would not want to repeat more than once. Sometimes getting upset, sometimes getting a little bit angry, sometimes getting a little bit accusatory sometimes. This isn't always a mistake. Sometimes this is just raw emotion that comes out. And as long as you are able to tame yourself for the most part, this isn't going to be the worst mistake. But I would say if you continue to attribute fault and assign blame to the other person on a much more regular basis, especially if you're feeling upset generally a lot of the time, this is definitely going to be a huge mistake. If you're going to attack and accuse the other person of having and being in possession of malicious intentions, oh, she's hanging out with some of her friends, it means that she cares more about them, she cares about you. That doesn't necessarily mean that. She could still think about you all the time while she's away from you, and she just doesn't know what to say. She might not really know how to really connect with you on the same level. Maybe you've expressed something to her, maybe it was something very positive, and she hasn't responded to you in weeks, maybe even a month or so sometimes. And it's not because she's trying to hurt you, it's more than likely she just doesn't know how to respond. Like, when was the last time you had an argument with your siblings or parents and they start saying something to you that kind of annoys you? You're put in the spotlight, everyone's kind of teaming up against you, and you just feel overwhelmed by this. I'm not going to go into all the details now, but imagine like there's so many factors that it kind of feels like you're being pressured and the world is against you. And it doesn't help if you're going to attack the person you love. Imagine you are being attacked by the person you love, and they're telling you that the source of their pain is you. If you do that to your partner, the one that you are romantically interested in, that is going to be a huge mistake. Do not do that, because you are more than likely going to deter them, to repulse them, to make them not really want to talk to you in not the way that you'd even hope for. So if they're not even talking to you because you've, said nicer things to them, that could be an overwhelm of emotion or some other thing. It depends on the variation of the history you have together. But if you are going to assign blame to them, attribute fault, and basically say that they are the reason that you are suffering, that's not a good look. Second mistake is if you are really interested in attracting this person, buying them gifts is probably not going to be the best thing. You can only buy someone gifts if you've known them for a very long time. And they have to be very meaningful gifts. If they are not meaningful gifts, this is going to be such a, that feeling like, for example, I myself, I would probably buy someone I know personally flowers now, but I would not be doing that if I only know this person for a few months. For like anything less than a year, I would not send flowers. Like, it just really depends on the context. It kind of really depends on the investment and the interest. But if you were going to send a gift, it has to be meaningful, like super, super duper meaningful. Like, I don't know, a Chromie doll, like plushie, or something that helps period pain. Maybe it could be like, I don't know, hygienic needs, or it could be some type of surprise thing, like a delivery. Maybe even like a diary, I don't know. It could even be alcohol, but this has to be very, very rare. And you know what? It could even be a brand new iPhone. And these are things I've done before. And these gifts they impact the other person, whoever receives them. But giving flowers or rocking up when that person is sick and they already have other friends showering them with attention, it's important to know when you give the gift as well. If the other person is being showered with attention by other people who are interested in them, even if it's equally romantically interested, then your gift may not shine in the way that you imagine. So definitely don't go giving gifts when the time is not right and if the gift doesn't have any significant impact on that person's life. If you are trying to gain something from that person whom you are giving the gift, this will destroy the entire purpose of the gift altogether. The gift must come from the heart, and the gift must have significant meaning, and the gift must significantly impact the person, the receiver. If you're just trying to get something from the other person, oh, where's my gift? I gave you a gift. I did all this for you, and you can't even freaking love me back. That's not a real gift. That was, for lack of a better word, a form of manipulation, and it's not attractive. Mistake number 3 is sending long, hideous texts. And it doesn't matter if you're coming from a place of rationale. I was just literally reading The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene, chapter 1, and it's talking about our biases. And a lot of us, to my surprise, I forgot this bias, is a lot of us actually do think that we are coming from a rational place. Some might use the word logical place. But whatever it is that you're probably doing to try to attract that other person, to try to do whatever it is you're trying to do, right? That is not going to land well because your rationale, if it's reasonable, this should come smoothly. This should come like be as easy as spreading butter on toast. If you have to gymnasium your way to zigzag around to try to communicate to this other person, like I was saying before, that they are the cause of your suffering, which is not the case, that you love them dearly, that you're just, even if you say something really nice, like you'll be there for them. Are you saying this from a place where you really can accomplish this despite the odds against you? Where there's the paradox of change, where people will resist everything you say. Can you even stand that? Even if this girl is seeing so many other people and you're still loyal to them. You don't want to see yourself as a simp, so what do? And then you start questioning yourself. Can you really follow through on your word? And this person whom you're romantically interested in, they're not really showing up in the way that you're hoping. Are you doing this because you'll hope that they will change? Or are you accepting them for how they are presenting themselves to be? And how they're presenting themselves to be doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could just be a moment in their life where they need time to surrender to even being with you, if they even find you attractive, if they want to commit to you. And by having other people in her life, she's able to compare those people with you, because this is what the brain does. It literally compares things. If I told you there is such a thing called a boogaloo, would you even know what that is unless you had something to compare it to? A boogaloo could be a fruit. A boogaloo could be a type of car. You don't really know what that is until you have an image of that to compare it to. And so the human mind needs something to compare one object with another. And so if she has other friends that she hangs out with and they're all trying to get with her, but no one really compares to you, if you're laid back, if you're kind of like not really even pursuing her, she will notice that. She is taking notice. Even when you are absent, she is taking notice. So that is going to wrap up for this video. I will send a part 2 up very shortly. This is 3 out of 5 mistakes of how to not attract someone. I'll see you on the other side.